Good morning. Today my topic is distractions are the evil. How many times I have missed a lane on the road because I got distracted by a thought that flashed through my mind. Sometimes I have had distractions and missed taking my car documents with me, and as mysteriously was hauled up by the traffic police for jumping signal and doubly fined for not carrying the car documents. I remember an incident in school where I was to speak for 5 minutes in an extempore speaking contest. I jotted down points and put them into my memory, and when called on stage, started my speech in full-throated voice. My speech was being well received by the audience. Hardly a few minutes of my speech, I could fathom the quiet in the house. Not a murmur, not a whisper. But that distracted me. I was distracted by the sudden quiet in the hall and forgot my lines. I stood there for a minute without uttering a word. When I got back my lines, I started speaking again, but then the buzzer rang out for me to conclude my speech. I had lost a chance to get a medal for extempore speaking. It cost me a medal, and I brought home a headache. Another incident I remember so well was when I was writing my medical entrance exam. I got distracted sometime during the written exam and lost the sequence of thoughts. I stopped writing and tried to recollect, but I could not recall at that moment. But just before leaving the classroom, I could remember everything. The sequence of thoughts came back, but it was too late for reckoning. I had lost my medical seat by a whisker. I do remember instances where I wanted to put my point of view in a discussion, but got distracted and forgot what I wanted to say. How many times I would have got into a verbal spat with my wife for not listening to what she told me last. Sometimes distractions can cost lives. Like when you are taking a turn on the road, we forget to reduce speed or get distracted by a phone call while driving and run into another vehicle. Well, what causes us to get distracted? Primarily, it is natural to get distracted when you are not interested in a topic of conversation. On the contrary, you tend to concentrate naturally when you are interested and want to know more or would like to put in your point of view. Also, the mind wanders when you encounter monotony. Like if you are driving for hours on a highway, your mind is likely to take you to some interesting happenings. Other than watching the road ahead, you may miss a lane, you may miss seeing a billboard or a lane that you had to take. I have reason to believe that we have two classes of people. One that does not get distracted easily and one who are prone to distractions. I have reason to believe that scholars, academicians, doctors and engineers belong to the category of people who are focused and committed. They are the ones who did well in school and later joined government or private institutions to become heads of department of shops and institutions. The second category are those who never did well in academics because of their wandering mind. They were curious and questioned everything they saw, heard, or read. They never did well in academics. But this quality, their ever wandering mind, made them to think out of the box, connect and correlate disparate ideas, They are the ones who brought innovation to the society and the country. Remember our great scientists and authors who did not do well in school or college. To name a few, Einstein, who never did well in academics, whose parents had given up hope that he would ever find a proper job. But because of his curiosity and a wandering mind, he could correlate scientific works of his contemporaries like Newton and Maxwell. He was able to link Newton's gravitational laws and Maxwell's equations to derive the theory of relativity. Great scientists like Newton did poorly in school and was once removed from school because of his lack of concentration and a wandering mind. But later in life, he could assimilate all his scientific works with that of Galileo, correlate them to develop the famous Newton's laws of motion. What does all this tell us? How do the people who do not do well in academics fit in society? Well, we need them. We need them for our growth and for our innovations. These people provide innovations and bring change for the good. The second type is the studious and the focused. They will provide stability and continuity. They will be good administrators, academicians, doctors and engineers, and provide continuity. Schools, colleges should identify these two categories. The studious to be trained to be future teachers, administrators, engineers, and the wanderers be given an environment to develop their creative abilities. Schools, colleges should have different curriculum which will give material for study for the serious student and time for the wanderers to experiment on new ideas. More of science fairs could be organized where people, young and old, showcase their creations and which can be funded by government for realizing their ideas. Engineering companies should allot more funds for innovative projects so that they can put their ideas into reality. The moral of the story is never ignore a child who does not do well in academics. He could turn out to be an outstanding innovator in the future, a newsmaker in society. Thank you.